Hi everyone, welcome to my video on Azure Databricks. So today we'll get started, or today I'll help you on how to get started on Azure Databricks. So once you're in your Azure portal, uh, then you can just type in search Databricks. Okay, so you'll get this Azure Databricks. So once you click or once you hit your Azure Databricks, you will see like on the screen that the screen as you see. So there are no Databricks services as of now. So we can just go ahead and create a new instance of Azure Databricks. So to create a new instance, we can just go ahead and hit this create option. And once we hit this create option, we have to select the subscription that I want. For now, it is Azure subscription. Then we have to select a resource group. So for example, I've already created a resource group, but yeah, if you want to create a resource group from scratch, you can also hit create new and create a resource group. That also will work. But yeah, either is fine. So either you can use an existing resource group or create a new resource group. Okay. Now, once you have created a resource group, next is you can provide your workspace name. So I will provide a workspace name as follows. Demo workspace. Okay. And then next, we can select the region. So if you see out of these regions, I'll go ahead and select West US. Don't see West US. Um, okay, yeah, West US. Okay, so I've selected West US. Now, pricing tier, it's better to use premium since my trial 14 days trial has been expired, so I am using premium. At times I've seen like whenever when it comes to creating clusters, the free tier kind of doesn't work for some of the regions. So it's better like you create a premium pricing tier, okay, or you use premium pricing tier. Next, I'll go ahead and use networking. So I'll leave everything as default. Encryption also, I'll leave everything as default. Security compliance, I will not interfere with anything. Then tags, I don't need any tags for as of now. And then I can just go ahead and create. So so this video is basically to just get you started on Azure Databricks. But yeah, there'll be further videos or in my channel where I'll be showing you other options how to configure it in a better way. Okay, but for now I just wanted to get started on Azure Databricks. So now I just hit create option. Okay, and now my deployment, I mean, is in progress, so it'll start deploying. So just to save time, I have already created another instance of Azure Databricks, so where the deployment was completed. So let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, so now if you see, I use the same process or I filled up the same form with the same details and created another Azure Databricks instance. So now you can see it says like your deployment is complete. The only difference is there it was Azure subscription, but here it is pay as you go. Okay, so now once done, I can go to this go to resource. I can click on this go to resource. Now, after going to resource, if you see, we have something called as launch workspace. So I can just go ahead and launch my workspace. Okay, so once I launch my workspace, it will take me to the Azure Databricks environment. So now this is where I can start writing codes, creating catalogs, work with clusters. Okay, so Azure Databricks normally work with clusters. So basically, before you get started, you have to create your first cluster. Okay. There are other options of using a serverless instance, but for today, we will just go ahead and create a cluster. Okay. So now, if you see the option here, what we see here is basically compute. So under this compute, or if I'm hitting this compute option, I'll see the option like where I can create a compute. Okay. Now, the multiple combinations of your compute. So basically, if you want to get started, so if you hit create compute, okay, so if you hit create compute, so basically like you can provide a compute name. I'll leave it as default. Then depending on your requirement, you can use like a power user compute, legacy shared compute. So depending on your or even personal compute, depending on your requirement, you can select either of these. Okay, so for now, I'll just go ahead and select since this is just for training purpose, I'll just go ahead and use personal compute. But if I'm configuring it for real world or for production environment, then it will be different. But since our objective for this video is to get started on Databricks, so I will use personal compute. Okay. Now, after selecting personal compute, what we see is basically like in terms of performance, what runtime to choose when it comes to performance, which version. So I have seen a lot of a lot of failures using these Databricks runtimes. So the safest option, what I see is the oldest version, so which is 10.4 LTS Scala 2.2 Spark 3.2.1. So this particular option will, you'll get more surety of creating a cluster. Otherwise, your cluster will keep failing. It will never start. Okay, I've seen that one. So that's all. Or it will not be able to assign sufficient amount of VM capacity for your cluster. So that's why it will keep failing. So just to keep everything safe, so I'll use the 10.4 LTS. Okay, and then node type, I will leave it to the bare minimum, that is 14 GB memory and 4 cores. And for termination, okay, after how much time of inactivity I want my my cluster to be terminated, I would say, let's see, so I would say 120. Okay, so after 120 minutes of inactivity, my cluster or the cluster that I've created will get terminated. Okay, now remember when it comes to pricing, so the till the time your cluster is running or till the time you're interacting with your cluster, you get charged for it. Once your cluster terminates, you'll only be charged for the services, the other services, but for Databricks, you are not charged. Okay. Now, once I've created this, now once I've filled this form, I can just hit create, and then we can wait for our cluster to be ready. Okay, so let's wait so that our cluster gets up and running. Hi everyone. So we're back. Now you see my cluster is up and running. So this basically uh, the color of this dot is green. So which means my cluster is up and running. Now to get started with my or very first code or very first notebook, I would say. So we can get started. Like for example, if I want to create a notebook, it's fairly simple. So I hit new and I create a notebook. Okay, so now this is where I can create a notebook. Now, once I create a notebook, it depends like what code I want to run. I mean, in which language. So I can run it in SQL, Scala, or whichever language I want to run my code, I can run. But yeah, there are also other factors involved in this. But yeah, we are just doing. I mean, we are just doing a getting started video. So we'll not go in detail into the coding part. Okay. Now, before running a code on a notebook, make sure you connect to a cluster. So here it is. So I'm connecting. So the cluster that I've created, I have connected it to a cluster. Now, to get started, I'll just use something very simple. X is equal to 4. And then I'll use Y is equal to 5. Z is equal to X plus Y and then print C. Okay. So now if I execute, okay, now if I'm executing, so I'm getting the result. Now, if I want to extract this notebook in whatever format, I can do that. So like if I go to Python, I can export the notebook in these formats. Sorry, if I go to file and then if I want to extract, I can extract my notebooks in these particular formats. Okay. Now on top of it, if I'm already having an existing notebook, I can also import it. Like for example, in my local file on my local machine, I'm having another notebook, so I can just go ahead and hit this import option, and then I can just browse and pick up my notebook. For example. Okay, so now I've imported a notebook which says S3 to data frame or S3 to DF. Now, if I want to access this particular notebook, I can do that. So I did go to file. Sorry, I can always go to workspace. In the workspace, I can see this particular notebook. So if I hit this notebook or the file that I've imported, now I see like if you see. I am having the entire code with me. Okay, so basically this is how we can get started with Databricks. We can start creating our notebooks, and please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us for more videos. Thank you.